the thing you hate most about yourself. That trait that makes you feel weak, inadequate, inferior. Nietzsche says that's exactly where your greatest power is hiding. Not despite your insecurity. Because of it. Most people spend their entire lives running from what makes them uncomfortable. Nietzsche discovered how to turn it into something indestructible. Welcome to Dark Truths, where we explore Nietzsche's philosophy without filters. If you're new here, subscribe, because this channel will never tell you what you want to hear. Only what you need to hear. Here's what they've told you your whole life. Hide your weaknesses. Overcome your insecurities. Become confident. Fake it till you make it. It's a lie, and it's a lie that keeps you weak. Because here's what actually happens. You wake up every morning with this voice in your head telling you you're not enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, not attractive enough, not anything enough. And what do? You try to ignore it. You try to silence it. You read self-help books that tell you to think positive and believe in yourself. You scroll through Instagram looking at people who seem to have it all figured out. But that voice never goes away. It just gets louder, more insistent, more impossible to ignore, because you're fighting yourself. And when you fight yourself, you always lose. Both sides of the battle exhaust themselves until there's nothing left. Nietzsche watched this happen again and again. People who hide their insecurities become bitter, resentful. They develop what he calls resentment, a quiet, poisonous rage against the world and against themselves. They spend years building facades, personas, versions of themselves they think the world will accept. And meanwhile, the real strength, the thing that could actually make them extraordinary, rots unused inside. This is the trap, and Nietzsche found the way out. Nietzsche himself was insecure, sick most of his life, rejected by his academic peers, misunderstood while he was alive. He could have become bitter. He could have spent his life complaining about his fate. Instead, he wrote, and thus spoke Zarathustra, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." But this isn't just some stupid motivational slogan. It's a precise philosophical principle about how to transform suffering into power. Here's what Nietzsche understood. Your insecurity isn't a defect. It's a signal. It's your psyche telling you, there's something here that needs to be transformed. There's energy here waiting to be used. Think of it like this. Insecurity is undirected psychological energy. It's like having a powerful engine in your car, but you never learn how to turn it on. So it just makes noise. It vibrates. It shakes you from the inside. Most people try to disconnect the engine. Nietzsche says, learn to drive. He calls it the will to power. Wills are matched. Not power over others. The power to transform yourself. To take what's raw and chaotic inside you and forge it into something powerful. And your insecurity? That's the most powerful raw material you have. Hear us why. Insecurity means you're aware of a gap between who you are and who you could be. Most people live in denial. They convince themselves they're already great, that they don't need to change. But your insecurity tells you the truth. There's more in you. There's a version of you that's stronger, more capable, more alive. And that tension you feel, that's the gap between those two versions tearing you apart. Nietzsche says, don't eliminate the tension, use it. But let me show you what happens if you don't transform this energy. Because transformed insecurity doesn't disappear. It ferments. It corrupts. It becomes toxic. Nietzsche identified 3 ways people waste this energy. First trap, resentment. You start hating those who seem to have what you don't. You convince yourself they don't deserve it, that the system is rigged, that you're a victim. It's comfortable. It gives you an excuse. But it also turns you into something small and bitter. Nietzsche called this slave morality, when you redefine your weaknesses as virtues to feel superior. I'm not ambitious because ambition is bad. I'm not rich because money is shallow. I'm not attractive because beauty is vain. It's poison. You bury yourself alive. Second trap, constant escape. You fill every moment with distractions. Social media, Netflix, alcohol. Anything to keep you from feeling that internal tension. But here's the problem. The more you avoid the insecurity, the more powerful it becomes. It becomes this huge, terrifying thing in the shadows. And you spend your whole life running. Third trap, empty overcompensation. You chase external achievements to prove your worth. You accumulate successes like trophies. But nothing is ever enough. Because you never transform the core insecurity. You just build a bigger facade. And every success makes you more terrified that someone will discover you're a fraud. These three traps are where most people end up: bitter, distracted, or desperately chasing validation that never comes. Nietzsche saw a fourth way, the way of self-overcoming. Here's how Nietzsche says you transform insecurity into a superpower. It's not fast, it's not easy, but it's real. Step 1. Name it without judgment. The first thing you need to do is stop running. Sit with your insecurity and look at it directly. Not to judge it, not to fix it, just to see what it actually is. Say, I'm afraid I'm not smart enough. Not I should be smarter. Not why am I so stupid. Just the naked observation. Nietzsche writes in The Gay Science, become who you are. Not what you think you should be. Not what others want you to be. What you actually are, under all the layers of shame and denial. And you can't become what you are if you refuse to see what you are. Step 2. Find the hidden energy behind it. Now here's the crucial part. Every insecurity hides a desire, a will, a direction your life wants to go. If you're insecure about your intelligence, it's because part of you wants to be intellectually powerful. If you're insecure about your body, it's because part of you wants to be physically strong. If you're insecure about your impact, it's because part of you wants to create something that matters. Insecurity is how your potential calls to you. Most people hear this call and panic. They think, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. And they run. Nietzsche says, the call itself is proof you can do it. Your psyche wouldn't call you towards something if you didn't have the capacity to reach it. Step 3. Turn tension into direction. Here's where most personal development philosophies fail. They tell you to release the tension. To relax, to accept where you are. Nietzsche says the opposite: increase the tension. Make it unbearable. Then use that pressure to propel yourself forward. How? By doing the thing your insecurity tells you you can't do. Not eventually. Not when you're ready, now. If you're insecure about your intelligence, pick up the hardest book you can find and force yourself to read it. If you're insecure about your body, go to the gym today. If you're insecure about your creativity, create something and share it. Not because you'll succeed immediately. You probably won't. But because this is how you transform the static energy of insecurity into the dynamic motion of growth. Nietzsche calls this amor fati, love of fate. Not just accepting your circumstances, loving them, because they're exactly the obstacle you need to become stronger. Step 4. Repeat until transformation. Here's the part nobody tells you. This process doesn't happen once. It happens again and again. Every level of growth reveals a new insecurity, a new limit, a new challenge. This is what Nietzsche means by Übermensch the Overman. Not someone who has no insecurities. Someone who's learned to transform them, again and again, until transformation itself becomes who you are. You don't overcome insecurity. You transcend it. You become someone for whom insecurity is just fuel. Let's talk about what this looks like in real life. Because it's easy to talk about philosophy. It's hard to apply it when you wake up at 3 a.m. with anxiety choking you. Imagine you're insecure about your career. You look at people around you succeeding and you feel like an imposter. Here's how you apply Nietzsche's technique. Day 1. You sit down and write without filter. I am afraid I'm not good enough in my field. I'm afraid people will discover I'm faking it. I'm afraid of being left behind. Just naming it without judgment starts taking away its power. Day 2. You ask, what is this insecurity trying to tell me? What does it really want? And you realize, it wants you to become excellent, to master your craft, to create something important. This realization changes everything. Your insecurity isn't a flaw. It's your ambition in disguise. Day 3. You do the thing that terrifies you. You take on that project you've been avoiding. You pitch that idea. You share that work. Not because you feel confident. Because discomfort is the price of transformation. And you probably fail. Or at least, you don't excel immediately. But something crucial happens. The energy that was trapped in insecurity starts moving. It has direction now. It becomes growth. The following month, you continue. You face a new insecurity, now at a higher level. You repeat the process. And slowly, inexorably, you become the version of yourself your insecurity was calling to all along. This is what Nietzsche means when he writes, You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star. The chaos of your insecurity isn't the problem. It's the raw material of your greatness. Let me be clear about what happens if you ignore this. Because most people will. They'll watch this video, nod along, then go right back to what they were doing. And in 10 years, they'll wake up and realize they're exactly the same person. Just older, still insecure, still waiting for confidence to magically arrive, still avoiding the one thing that could transform them. Nietzsche has a word for this: the last man. Someone who just wants to be comfortable, who avoids discomfort, who chooses safety over growth, who dies without ever really living. That's the cost, not just staying the same, becoming less. Because if you don't use your potential, it doesn't just sit there quietly. It corrupts. It becomes regret. But if you do the work, if you actually transform your insecurity into a superpower, you become something most people don't even believe is possible. You become someone who welcomes challenge, who sees insecurity as opportunity, who grows stronger with every obstacle. So here's where you are. You have this insecurity, this thing that makes you uncomfortable, this voice telling you you're not enough. You have two choices. You can spend the rest of your life running from it, building facades, becoming bitter, distracting yourself until it's too late. Or you can do what Nietzsche challenges you to do: transform it. Look at it directly, find the energy it's hiding, and use it to become someone you can't even imagine yet. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be, but it's the only real way to live. Now go. Name your insecurity, find the power hidden in it, and start the transformation. Stay dangerous.